In this video, I'm gonna work out exactly how much it costs to cook these chips in that air fryer. Hi, and welcome to another energy awareness video. My name's Jesse, and I'm the Fast and Sparky. Okay guys, so in this video, I'm gonna find out exactly how much that air fryer is costing me to use. Exactly. So how am I gonna do it? Well, I'm gonna measure how much power it's actually using and how long it's using it for while I cook those chips. Right, okay. So to do that, I'm going to need a couple of test instruments. And the first one, and the most important one, is a clamp meter. I need a clamp meter. So basically, these will measure current flowing through a core of a cable. So that will tell me exactly how many watts that is using while it's in operation. So what you do is you clamp that over one of the cords, either the live or the neutral of a cable. Now obviously a cable has got insulation around it. You can't get to the inside of each individual core. So, whoa, hang on, bear with. I've created an extension cable and I've split the cords up. So we've got the earth and the neutral on that one and the live on the grey one. And then I've put some heat shrink over them again to put the double insulation back. So basically this plugs into the power socket. The appliance plugs into that, and then while it's in operation, that goes over there, and that will show me not only how much current it's using in amps, it will also show me when the thermostat is cutting in and out, and we'll be able to work out exactly how long that is pulling current. And once I know that, and I know the voltage, I'll have a second test meter plugged into the same socket, and that will give me the voltage, and then with the voltage I can then work out exactly how much it's going to cost me to cook them chips. Right guys, so I've actually I've filmed some footage of my air fryer cooking some chips. It took 18 minutes. Well, you'll see at the start of the video that I show it's speeded up at the start because otherwise we'll be here all day. But it shows the cooking instructions, and for an oven, off the top of my head, I think it said 20 to 25 minutes. So I think that's the rough estimate. Rough estimate is an air fryer will cook 30% quicker than a conventional oven. So at 25 minutes, around about 30% quicker than that is about 18. So I'd done them at 18, and they did cook them to absolute perfection after 18 minutes. So at the start of the video, you'll see me plug all that lead in and the test and getting it all set up. And then during the video, you'll see it will speed up and slow down, just because it's pointless sitting here watching it cook. Basically, we just speed through sections of it. Also, please note the audio, I drop the audio off in places, but I raise it up in places. Listen carefully when I raise it up, because you can actually hear the element cutting in and out, and it's very important why you need to hear that and understand, because I did encounter a problem during the cooking time, but we'll go through that at the end. So I think the best thing we can do now is get the video going, get me down in probably the bottom corner, and we'll get the video going. Right guys, Boo Boo, leave the air fryer alone please. He can't even behave himself when I'm doing these types of videos. Right, now let's get on with watching this video. I've had to put headphones on because I need to listen to the audio, and if it comes out on this video and the video you're watching, it's going to just create all sorts of trouble in the final video with echoing and feedback, and so it's just easier if I wear headphones. Right guys, let's hit play and get this going. You might hear me just do some counting at some point. That's so I can sync the edit. When I'm editing it, I can sync the videos up, so as my commentary is matching what you're seeing on the screen. So here we go. So I'm just showing the chips now, the cooking time. I'm putting them in a bowl just to demonstrate how many I'm putting in there, because obviously if you lump 3 times that, it's going to take longer to cook them. I've done a close-up there so you can see the element is like a conventional fan heater. So you've got a heating element with a fan behind it, and it pushes air past the element, and that's moving air into the cooking chamber. I'm just showing the lead, that's all one piece. That's not being plugged into anything else, or I've got something else plugged in pushing the current rating up. That's my multifunction tester I use for testing installation circuits at work. It's got a voltage setting on it, so I'm using that to collect the data of the voltage during this cooking. So I'm now just trying to find the best spot so you can see the screen on that multifunction tester, because the light is not great. We'll get there in a minute. So that big tester, that will be measuring the volts, and the clamp meter is measuring amps. So I'm now turning the dial up to 18 minutes. There we go, 18 minutes. And when I press start, you will see the clamp meter kick in there, and it's pulling just over 7 amps at the moment at 242. 7.02 at 242 volts. 7.02 times 242 equals 1698 watts. So if you times the volts by the amps, that will give you the watts, the power rating, or the power output of any appliance. So for about the first minute or so, I'll just carry it through. You can see there's a big red, I'll put a big red button on the screen so you can clearly see it's on. So every time the clamp meter is pulling power, that will be on the screen. Boo Boo, come on, down you get. Not today, my man. So we've gone for a close-up here, so you can see the clamp meter is reading 7.09 or 7.09 amps. It's still pulling power. We've got the on button. When that on button goes off, then that's when the thermostat is cut in, and there's just the fan blowing. And if you listen carefully, you can hear it raise, the pitch raise. And I think what's happening is because that element is pulling a lot of power, the fan gets a little more juice and it speeds up slightly, and you can just hear it. You can just hear the sound raises in pitch. It'll be switching off. I think it's around about 7.5 minutes it hits temperature. Just look for that red button to go off. Now I've slowed it down now because we're getting close. I've raised the audio so you can hear that change in pitch, which will be, that's me on the hob. There it goes. You just hear that slight change in pitch. So it's now off. It's just the fan running. It's using minimal power, and that is costing literally nothing. That's minimal power, that is. Fractions of a pence. Fractions. You could literally have that run all day long, that wouldn't even use 1 pence. There we go, it's kicked back in again. So it weren't off long, it was straight back in again, heating the chamber back up again. Because if you think about it, air fryers can't be very efficient because they're just dumping all the heat out the back. All the heat they're generating is just getting thrown out the back. Now, here's the problem. My test meter switched itself off. I didn't know it would do that. I've never used it long enough to know it would do that. So it's switched off and we've lost 2 minutes. We don't know for 2 minutes. It's just 2 minutes and 5 seconds I think it's off for. So we don't know what is going on for certain during those 2 minutes. But we'll come back to that, which is why if you listen to the audio, you can hear when it cuts in and out, but we'll come back to that at the end. And now my other test has switched itself off as well, which isn't really important because we know what the voltage is anyway by now. So it's the other one which is the important one. We need that on to know when the appliance is pulling power to heat the element and when it's not. Basically the thermostat factor. You'll hear me discover this in a little while, and then not long after, once I've sorted it, I do mute the audio. You can probably guess why. See, now you can hear it's gone up. It's gone up. The pitch is raised. So now I believe the element is not pulling power at this moment in time. You can hear it. It's a higher pitch. I now noticed. No, come on, lad. You've got to turn it off and on. There we go, well done. There we go, so it's back on, look, and it's pulling 6.93 amps. I haven't noticed the voltmeters off, but I will in. Oh, there's me, just having a little word with myself. Now I've turned the, what we've done here, we're back to normal speed again. The volt instrument is back on, reading 244 volts. At the moment the thermostat is not calling for heat, so the heater is off. And we've got 6 minutes and 29 seconds cooking time left. So we're back on again. It's now drawing power again. I've speeded it up, and it's basically pulling about 6.91, 6.92 amps. It's back on again. We've got 4 minutes cooking time left, just over. It's gone off again. It's on again, 3.5 minutes left. Off again, 2.5 minutes left. On again, 2 minutes left, just over. So we're nearly there now, and I think the last minute, I let the last minute play out at normal speed. So 242 volts, around about 6.92 amps. 242, 241 volts. I think that's what, I can't remember, I've got it written down what calculation we're going to use. But you know, even if you just go slightly over or under, we're talking fractions of a penny on the end result here. Right. So we just got 20 seconds left. It's cut out again. Ten seconds left. And they did cook the chips to absolute perfection, to be fair. I don't normally, that's the first time I've cooked oven chips in there. I always cook my own chips in there. Which do take a bit longer, to be fair. Right, so that's that. Now let me get rid of this and then we'll start doing some calculations. Right, okay. So now what have we got here? So it was an 18-minute cooking cycle, and in that cycle we had an initial heat up. I'll put a chart up what I'm reading up on the screen. So the initial heat up was 7 minutes and 23 seconds. So from when I turned that on, the amp meter showed it was pulling just under 7 amps, let's say. And it did that for 7 minutes and 23 seconds before the thermostat reached temperature and knocked the heating element out. And then that was like it was switched off, the heating element was not pulling power for 24 seconds, and then my meter switched itself off. So we don't know for sure how long it was off for. And it was off for 2 minutes and 5 seconds, the meter. But then when it went back on, when I turned it back on, it went for another 44 seconds. So when I turned it back on, it was calling for power. And this actually ties in with at the end, because I think you can hear the pitch, the sound of the air fryer just rise just before I turn that on. And if you can see the following blocks of on times, they're 49, 49, 43, 43, 42. Well, the third block, which was just after I switched it back on, was 44 seconds. The fourth block was 49, fifth block 49, you can see. And then if you add all them up, the total time, excluding the unknown, so for that 2 minutes and 5 seconds, excluding any of that, we know out of that 18 minutes, it was definitely drawing nearly 7 amps for 12 minutes and 17 seconds, right? Okay. Now, let's just get... Next slide, please, boo-boo. Right, okay. So, of the 18 minutes cooking time, we know 12 minutes and 17 seconds were pulling full power. There was an unknown time of 2 minutes and 5 seconds. But without me going into it, and I think you can probably work out how I did it by the pitch rising up and down, I believe that during that unknown time, 1 minute and 26 seconds were being used at full power. So if we go by that, the total time using maximum power was 13 minutes and 43 seconds. And to put that onto a calculator, that would be 13.75. Hang on, I've got written that down wrong here. I've put 13 point, yeah, it's right. Sorry, I've got it. I've put 13.75 seconds. That's not seconds, it's minutes. So I need to change that, boo-boo. So it's 13.75 minutes, because 43 seconds, 45 seconds is 3/4 of 1 minute. So yeah, I've put 13.75 seconds on it. I will put that right before I do the final edit. So yeah, so we've got a total time using maximum power of 13.75 minutes. Right, so I've already explained how do you work out how much wattage that is. We just times the volts by the amps. So we know that it was pulling around about 242 volts for most of the time, and once it had settled down, it had sort of settled at around about 6.92 amps. So if you calculate 242 times 6.92, that gives you 1674.64 watts. So to round it very slightly up, that would be 1675 watts, which is 1.675 kilowatts. Right, okay, I just had to do a very slight edit. I've made a tiny little minuscule mistake and he threw the numbers very slightly off, but I want to get these exact. So here we go. So cost to run per minute. So how much does my air fryer cost me to run per minute? How to work that out is how many kilowatts is pulling. We now know that. And how much I'm paying for my electricity in kilowatt hours. I went through all this in the other energy awareness video, which I'll flash up on the screen, the thumbnail for that. You'll find the description in the you'll find the link in the description and all that. If you haven't seen it, that is. Basically, it's how to work out how much your oven is costing you in electricity. So, I'm paying, like most people, just over, or about 0.3354 something pence, which is 33.5 pence. So for ease, let's round it up to 34 pence. I had 35 pence down on my calculation, didn't I? But I want to get it right. So 34 pence, so you times 1.675 watts or kilowatts times 34p, 0.34, and you get 0.5695, and then you divide that by 60, because that 0.5695 is how much you pay for 1 kilowatt hour when it's pulling 1.675 kilowatts. So if you divide it by 60 minutes, that will give you how much it's costing you per minute to run. And that is 0.0094916 pence, which in other words is just a fraction under 1 pence. Just a fraction under 1p. So for anybody watching this, I mean, I'm going to be testing another air fryer within excuse me, within the next few weeks, a more modern one, and we'll find out how much that's using. But if it's using a similar amount, I think it's fair to say the ones with the single elements in may cost around about a penny a minute to use, but we'll see. So now we know how much it's costing per minute, we can now work out how much that cost me to cook them chips. Right, where's the other slide? So here we go. New slide please, Boo Boo. Next slide, Boo Boo. Cost to cook chips. So we know the oven or the air fryer was running for 18 minutes, but only 13 and 3/4 minutes were actually drawing power to heat the heating element, which is where the costs come in. So all we have to do is times the cost per minute by 13.75, and that will give me the total cost of what it cost me to cook them chips in that air fryer. So it is 0.00949916 times 13.75 equals 0.1305095, or in other words, just a little smidgen over 13 pence. So it cost me 13 pence in that air fryer to cook them chips. Right, it definitely is cheaper to use my air fryer to cook them chips than it would be to use my oven. So let's have a look at that now. Let's get rid of the laptop. I don't think we need that anymore. So the air fryer is costing 13 pence to cook them. How much is the oven costing? Now, I think it was 25 minutes cooking time. So with a preheat, that's putting it up to 33 minutes. And without going into all the details of how I get to this number, you'd have to watch the other video. For 33 minutes, my oven cost me 28 pence. So there's a difference there, a saving of 15 pence, which is going to add up, isn't it? So without a doubt, that air fryer is definitely cheaper to run than my oven to get the same result. Cooked chips, a plate full of chips. But is it cost effective to go out and buy one if you haven't got an air fryer? How long would it take you? How many platefuls of chips would you have to eat before you are starting to save money? Now, I don't think that air fryer is oh, I should just add, I'm pretty sure, because they don't make this air fryer anymore, the power rating of this air fryer was actually, I think, 1550, 1.55 kilowatts. And we measured it out, I can't remember now, I've put it away, but it's 1.6, hang on, let's work, that's 242 times 6.92, wasn't it? Yes, 1,674. So I upped it to 1675. So it's over 100 watts difference than what they claim it was using. Anyway, you can't argue with measuring it. I know that's what that was pulling. So how many platefuls of chips would somebody have to eat before they start to save money and 15 pence? It's saving 15 pence every time they cook the chips in an air fryer and not the oven. How many times do they have to eat chips before they're saving money? Because they've obviously got to buy an air fryer. Now, they don't make that one anymore, but I think the equivalent to that now is, oh, I do need my laptop. Of course I do. Oh, what a woolly. Yes, I do need my laptop. Right. So the equivalent to today's equivalent of that is a Tefal Actifry Genius Extra Large AH960840. And that has a power rating of 1500 watts. But whether that's accurate is another thing, innit? And I can buy this today. I presume they have it in stock. That's not saying it's out of stock. I know everyone's rushing to go out and buy them. But I can buy this today for £149 from Currys. So if we're saving 15 pence every time. What's he doing? You ought to have a... Are you checking the calculations here? Bloomin' heck. So if you're saving 15 pence every time, all we have to do is 149 divided by 0.15, and that will give us how many times you've got to eat chips before you start to save some money. 993 times before you start to save some money. That's quite a lot. I mean, if you had chips every single day, how many years would it take? Divided by 365, it would take you 2.72 years before you start to save some money. Now, no doubt, I have obviously not done any calculations, but if energy prices go up, which they absolutely will, then you'll probably make more saving. You will make more saving. So that number will come down, but we can't guess the future. All we know is today. So at today's costs and how much you're paying for the air fryer, how much you're paying for electricity, it would take 2.72 years of eating chips every single day, or using your air fryer once every single day for 18 minutes before you start to get your money back. Or before you'll be getting your money back straight away, but before you start saving money. But the other thing you have to consider is, once it's done, once it's done 900 and whatever it was, work it out, 149 divided by 0.15 is 993 times, and if you times that by 18, that's 17,879 minutes. It's got to run 17,879 minutes before it starts saving your money. So the question is, it's going to be out of guarantee by then. Will it still be working after all that work? And if it is, how much longer is it going to be working for you to start saving some money? I mean, what if on the day it breaks even, you got your money back, it's gone wrong? You got to consider this stuff. Are they really that cost effective? I think it's down to individual. Without a doubt, if you've already got an air fryer, use it. You're saving money. Without a doubt, you are saving money if you've already got one. But if you haven't got one and you're planning to get one, you might just want to sit down and crunch some numbers, because I think a lot of people are getting swept up in the hysteria of air fryers, believing they're going to be saving so much money and expecting to see their energy bills going down, when the reality is you're going to be saving I'm going to be saving 15 pence every time I use my air fryer instead of my oven. So maybe people should perhaps look at other ways they could save money. I mean, an oven is a big old thing. You know, no doubt most people, when they're cooking in their oven, they have available space in there. They could be cooking something else. So maybe you should be thinking about doing 2 meals in there. Maybe one you could perhaps have cold later on, or just reheat in a microwave or something the next day. Perhaps you could, the preheat is the killer on the oven. If you took the preheat out, it'd almost bring it nearly down to what an air fryer cost to run. It's that preheat. So what if you could think of ways to eliminate the preheat? Meaning, you cook one meal in there, and then you think, I need to bake a loaf of bread. Right, get the dough ready. So as soon as you take your meal out, you're now putting your bread straight in. You haven't got to preheat the oven. Or think of other things you could possibly cook straight away without having to preheat the oven. You've got to get smart. If you're looking to save money, there are ways still to save money using a conventional oven. rather than run that and buying an air fryer. But I think, without a doubt, if you already have got an air fryer, use it. It's going to save you money, without a doubt. It's half the cost. It's literally costs half to run than the oven. Right guys, I think that's just about it. I think that wraps it up. I've got my little gadgets here. I've got that, oh, he's still here. I've got my lead, I've got my test. I will be testing another air fryer soon, and that one is Kirsty's, my girlfriend's. She's got a Ninja 3.8 litre air fryer and dehydrator, AF100 UK. Now in Argos, they're selling them in Argos for £130 at the moment. Whether these are available, I don't know. But that's the one she's got. That has a power rating of, I looked at it earlier, I think it was, yeah, 1550 watts. So what that is supposed to be. So I'm going to whip over hers over the Christmas period at some point, and I'm going to set the camera up and film that cooking something for a similar amount of time, about 20 minutes, 18, 20 minutes. I might even take the chips over there and do them chips in there. Do exactly the same experiment, actually, I think I'll do. And we'll see how much hers cost. And then you can start to gauge whether modern air fryers are any more efficient than these ones. Because I bought this, I think I bought this in, well, I know it was either 2015 or 2016 I bought that. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. So yeah, I'm going to be doing that. And also, like I say, I've got the gear now, I've got the lead all set up, the clamp meter. I'm going to be doing a similar video. It'll be a lot shorter though, because you know how it works now. If you've watched this video, you're going to know how it works. So it'll be a much shorter video of me doing other appliances, just plugging them in, time-lapsing them, and then just doing a quick calculation at the end, and you'll be able to get a gauge of what things cost. My next one is going to be my kettle. Now that kettle, I did plug that in the other day and put the old meter on it, and that was just under 3 kilowatts that was pulling. So I want to see how much that costs to boil from a full up, and perhaps work out how many times I use it a day, a week, a year, and work out how much that kettle's costing me per year at the current prices. So if you want to follow that type of information, or if you've got any interest in a silly sod like me and the old custard kid over there doing food reviews, please hit the old subscribe button. And hey, Boo Boo, come on, ding the old bell. Tell him to ding the bell, Boo Boo. Nah, I'll do it. Hey! Ho-ho! It's free. So they keep saying, it's free. Right guys, that is another energy awareness video. Hope you enjoyed that. If you've got any questions, please get in the comments and I'll do my best to answer them. And yeah, catch you on the next one. Take care.